Welcome to Agency Fiscal Note Tracking System training. This training will walk through the web application basics, preparing and signing off on a fiscal note, agency email notification, and reporting out of the system. The fiscal note process has not changed since last session. Fiscal analysts from the House or the Senate will request a fiscal note via the fiscal note tracking system. MMB staff will then read the bill and assign an agency or agencies to the fiscal note. Agency fiscal note coordinators are then notified via email of the fiscal note request and obtain a copy of the bill. Agency staff then analyzes the bill, prepares the fiscal note, and enters information into FNTS. Once all of this information has been entered and reviewed, the fiscal note coordinator will sign off on the fiscal note in FNTS. The fiscal note then goes to the Executive Budget Officer. The Executive Budget Officer will review the note and, upon approval, will sign off on the note within the system. Completed fiscal notes are emailed to the Chief Author, Committee Chair, Fiscal Analyst, and Requester. 48 hours after the bill has been completed, the note will be posted online. Automatic email notifications to the fiscal note coordinator and members on the agency email notification list are sent out hourly. This is an example of an email that you may receive. Emails contain information regarding new fiscal notes assigned, the bill number and version, due date, author, requester or requesting committee of the bill, an optional message from the requester or from MMB, and the lead agency and other agencies assigned to the bill if it is a consolidated note. Urgent fiscal notes are highlighted in red, and multiple requests are listed by their due date. We will now go into the fiscal note tracking system. The fiscal note tracking system has been tested and can be launched in Chrome, Internet Explorer, and Mozilla Firefox. To access the system, go to the administrative portal and use your state employee ID and password for Swift or Semaphore. Once you have logged in, select Fiscal Note Tracking System to launch FNTS. This is the Fiscal Note Tracking System homepage. System announcements in the middle of the page work much like the Message of the Day function in the old BIS system. Please pay attention to this section. FNTS is now accessed through the administrative portal and is subject to being down due to portal maintenance. Scheduled maintenance typically happens early Sunday mornings for a brief period of time. You can use the menu on the left-hand side of the screen for easier navigation through the system. We are going to walk through preparing an actual fiscal note. From your home page, go to the left-hand side of the screen and select Search. Note that you have many different search parameters to use. To search for all fiscal notes that have been assigned to your agency, simply select the Agency Action Required checkbox and click Search. This will pull back all fiscal notes that have been assigned to your agency. Use the breadcrumb feature at any point in time in the system to navigate back to a page you had been previously on. Note that there are many different statuses in the Agency Status drop-down menu. The Agency Draft Status is for agencies who are currently working on their fiscal notes. When a note is in Agency Draft Status, nobody other than the agency users are able to see that note. Once the note has been signed off by the Fiscal Note Coordinator, the note will immediately go into Agency Signed Off status. At this point, the note is visible to everyone working on the note, including the EBO. The EBO sign-off is when the EBO has signed off on the note. There are also many note statuses in addition to agency status. Select the drop-down menu next to Note Status to view all of these options. For this example, we're going to select Agency Action Required to pull back all of the fiscal notes that have been assigned to this agency. This is the search results screen. In the search results screen, I am able to select links that lead me to the bill text or the bill status. Let me see the bill number, the note title, who it has been assigned to, and what status the note is currently in. We're going to click on the note title to bring us to the status details screen. On this screen, we can see the agency status of all agencies that have been assigned to this note. Highlighted in green is the lead agency of the note. If there were a message attached to this bill, we would also be able to see that. In addition, if this note had attachments, we would be able to see the attachments. There are two buttons down at the bottom of the screen that I want you to focus on, both the View and the Prepare buttons. Selecting the View button will pull back a PDF of the fiscal note. If this note is still in preliminary status, preliminary will be written across the top. To exit this PDF, either X out your Internet Browser tab or select the tab directly to the left of this tab to go back to the Prepare screen, to go back to the Status Details page. From the Status Detail page, we are going to select Prepare to prepare the fiscal note. In the header of the Prepare screen, we can see details such as the bill number, agency name, title, fiscal note coordinator, due date of the note, fiscal note status, and agency status. In the agency contact box, you should fill in the contact that is responsible for the content of this fiscal note. This contact should be the go-to contact for any questions regarding this specific fiscal note. This note is currently in agency draft status. This means that no one outside the person working on this note is able to see the content. To allow others to see the content on this fiscal note, simply change the status to preliminary. Section 2 of the Prepare screen allows you to describe your fiscal impact indicators. Selecting the checkbox next to No Impact will set all of your fiscal impact buttons to No. An explanation is required in the assumptions narrative in order to save your note. We will get to the assumptions narrative later. The new fiscal note tracking system has 5 fiscal impact indicators. You have your state expenditure impact, which asks, does this bill have an impact on your agency's spending? For example, your operating budget. The fee and departmental earnings indicator asks, does this bill impact an agency fee or departmental earning? Your tax revenue asks, does this bill impact state tax revenues? The information technology indicator asks, does this bill impact your agency's information technology systems? All bills appropriating funds for larger technology programs that involve Minute staff will automatically be sent to Minute as well. Smaller projects where the agency can attend to them with their own staff will not be sent to Minute. However, the impact on your information technology system still needs to be documented. The local impact indicator asks, does this bill have a fiscal impact on a local government body? Sections 3 through 6 are your fiscal impact data tables. Section 3 is your expenditures, absorbed costs, and transfers out. To add a fund, simply click Add a Row and select your fund from the drop-down menu. If you know the fund name and not the fund code, a reference can be found on the FNTS website. For this example, I'm going to use the 2001 fund. Automatically, the fund name will populate. Keep in mind that you cannot leave a box blank and that all numbers are in thousands. Click Save to save your data. You can repeat this process to add information to all of your fiscal impact data tables. Once you have entered a fund in the expenditures table, that fund will immediately be your option for the cost agency absorbed table. Section 5, the state cost table, is a read-only table that automatically calculates all of your previous work. Keep in mind that you will not be able to enter your FTE data unless there are expenditures entered in Table 3.1. Again, click Save to save all of your data. As you can see here, I am unable to save my information due to the fact that there is no data that has been entered for this table. I'm going to click Cancel here. If you wish to edit a fund, simply click on the pencil and paper to edit your numbers. The green checkbox means that you wish to accept your changes, and the black X means that you wish to delete your changes. In this case, I am going to choose to accept my changes. If I wished to delete a fund, I would simply click the trash can. To enter information into the narrative, select the Open Narratives button. As you can see, this expands all of your narrative fields. If this feels uncomfortable to you on the page, you may select the negative button on the right-hand side of all of the tables to minimize the tables. You may also repeat this with section 2 and the header. As you can see, all we have open now is the narrative. Narratives in this system are slightly different than they were in BIS. We are now using a rich text editor rather than a Word document. However, this rich text editor does have the same look and feel as a Word document. Each heading now has its own section with the same copy and paste functionality. However, to properly paste, go to your document, select the data you wish to copy it to your clipboard, and then in your description, right-click, select Paste, and press Ctrl-V in order to paste into your Word document. What this does is this pulls out all of the code from your Word document. Select OK. You may also create or copy and paste a table into this editor. Charts and graphs are not supported and will not properly work in this system. Keep in mind that all narratives should be written in plain language. A good narrative supports the fiscal information in the note. Make sure you avoid jargon, as most legislators and the public may not be familiar enough with your agency or program to fully understand the message you are trying to convey. Avoid acronyms for the same reason. Also avoid comments on the merits of the bill. Keep in mind that the fiscal note is simply presenting information and not opinions regarding the bill. Lastly, do not use fonts other than Arial 10 or 12. This is for accessibility purposes. Back in the fiscal note system, once you have completed your narrative, you do have the option to email your EBO for a pre-sign-off review. When you are ready, click the Sign Off button. You will only be able to see this button if you have sign-off capability. As you can see, in this section, I did not complete the assumptions, and I have received a warning. This note has not been properly saved. Others are able to now view this fiscal note, and the EBO has been notified that there is a fiscal note ready for their review. This agency sign-off status precludes any other agency users from making changes in the fiscal note. Agencies are now able to remove their own sign-off from a fiscal note. In order to do this, click on your note, scroll down to the bottom and select the Remove Sign-Off button. This will put the note back in agency draft status so nobody else is able to view the note. And as you can see, the note has not been signed off. Once the agency has signed off for good, their work on the note is done. Let's walk through the agency email notification. The agency email notification is found on the left-hand side of the fiscal note screen. Agency email notification includes other system users and non-users in system-generated emails. This allows the coordinator backup and any other members of the agency to be notified of new notes in the system. The assigned agency EBO is included, but is allowed to opt out. Agencies are the list owners and manage their own notification lists. MMB does not maintain the agency email notification lists. At any point in time, an agency member may select Agency Email Notification and enter an email address or phone number for anyone who so chooses to receive notifications on fiscal notes for this specific agency. If you wish to remove somebody from the agency email notification list, click on the trash can in the right column of this list. Select OK, and this person is now removed from this list. Reports are also available to agency users. Click on Reports on the left-hand side of the screen and select any report you so choose. There are 5 reports currently available: the Legislative Fiscal Note Requests Report, Fiscal Note Requests by Agency Report, Fiscal Note Requests by EBO, an Account of Fiscal Note Requests by Status, Account of Fiscal Note Requests by EBO. Let's look at the Fiscal Note Requests by Agency report. Once you have selected a report parameters box will automatically appear on the right-hand side of your screen. This report is defaulted to run everything. Click off of something in order to narrow your search parameters. In this example, I'm going to narrow my search parameters by selecting Agency. In this case, I'm going to select both chambers, all note statuses, and all request due dates. I can either create a PDF report or export this report data to Excel. This is an example of a PDF report, and clicking back on this tab, I'm going to select Export Report Data to Excel and select Open. This is an example of that same report in Excel. In Excel, you can modify the Excel document to fit any of your needs. Any questions regarding how do I work this system, how do I enter my password, how do I get to the portal, etc., etc., should be directed to the Swift Help Desk at 651-201-8100, option 2. Any questions regarding what do I say in my note should be directed to your agency's executive budget officer.